So Bear and I were feeling pretty restless, cooped up in the office, so we decided to go for a little drive up in the mountains. So I thought we'd use this drive as an opportunity to talk about a climbing scene that I shot recently. I went out with my friends Jake and Jeremy to film them ascending this route that Jake and his friend Nate developed over the summer. Neither of them had climbed this route yet, so we decided to document the first ascent. And so I went out with them and got all rigged up. I think one of the biggest challenges when filming rock climbing is finding a variety of angles and capturing kind of like a full catalog of visuals to tell a compelling story, or at least to showcase the route from multiple angles. So that's always the challenge that I'm trying to accomplish when I go out and shoot rock climbing is where's location 1, where's location 2, where's location 3, angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, maybe 4 or 5. So often people who don't climb, when they try to film rock climbing, it's usually from below, and you end up just seeing footage of the climber's butt the whole time. I rappelled down right next to their route for the first couple climbs to get my close-ups and to capture their first attempts at this route. There's a loose rock. Can I knock it off? Once I got close-ups of their first couple attempts, I jugged up my line and relocated to a neighbor cliff just down the creek from where they were. And I rappelled down to about the same level as them and shot up the valley. And this angle was really cool. I didn't know exactly what to expect because I didn't really scout this before. I just sort of walked over to it and figured it would probably be a good angle, but it was really cool because I was able to frame them up against the tiers of water that was kind of coming down the creek behind them. And so I shot on my telephoto for a while of them in that spot. And then once I felt like I got what I wanted, then I sent up the drone while I was still positioned over there. That allowed me to stay out of the shot while I was getting drone shots of them. And then before they topped out, I went back over to the first route that I got on, and I roped up, but I didn't rappel down as far as I did. I mostly stayed toward the crux, which is the end of the route or the top of the route. And I stayed near there and documented both of them completing their final ascent. Climbing is always one of those types of shoots where you kind of have this bold vision in your mind, and to even come 40, 50, 60% of your vision is kind of a big win. But there's just so many logistics to juggle, and it's really hard to guarantee that you're going to be able to fulfill everything that's in your mind. Because it's one thing to just be on location and be in the right spot, but then you're also collaborating with the climber, and there's just so many variables. One of the things that I like most about filming rock climbing is the pace. As a cinematographer, it kind of lends itself to this opportunity to hone in on the emotion and the energy similar to like a dramatic film where there's so much subtlety and nuance that comes out of facial reactions and the pace in which like a character moves through the scene. And rock climbing is one of the few sports that's a really slow, melodic pace. I don't know, there's just kind of this natural poetry that comes out of rock climbing. There's kind of this narrative arc that comes along with climbing a route. So when I'm out shooting climbing, it's really easy to just fall into this flow and fall into this connection to the scene. You're just rooting for this character to like literally and physically ascend their story. One thing I'll say for anyone who's considering shooting rock climbing is if you've never done it before, then make sure you go out with somebody who knows what they're doing and start small and really get comfortable navigating that type of terrain. There's very few sports where safety is as prevalent as rock climbing. And as a filmmaker and someone who's trying to explore an artistic experience, it's really easy to get caught up in the scene and get really fixated on a particular shot or a moment that you're capturing and forget all about safety and get complacent and forget that you're literally in a life or death situation.
Rock! Pacific Northwest gardening.
Even if you are being extremely safe, there's a lot of accidents that can happen in situations like this. And so the fact is, everything comes to the forefront when you're climbing, and you got to be hyper focused on safety first and then the task at hand, which would be to shoot the scene. And that's something that I'm learning more and more over time. And every time I go out and climb, you know, I try to refine that exercise and that practice of how can I get what I want to get and still be as safe as I possibly can. I'd like to close this out by adding that if you're interested in the gear that I take with me when I film rock climbing, I'll be making a video here in the near future going over all of my climbing gear as well as camera gear. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm sure some of you are curious about the route that Jake developed. It's a 512B, and he sent me a little message describing it. It's a sheer vertical granite sport climb. It has a small roof to surmount halfway up the climb, and it finishes with a very devious slab problem right before the chain anchors. Yeah, if you happen to be in this area and you want to climb it, good luck with that. I want to mention that he titled the climb Pivot, and he named it after my feature film Project Pivot, which was a documentary about rock climbing and skateboarding and mountain biking, kind of all blended together. And he helped me quite a bit with that film. You can check out the documentary at Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Google Play, Tubi, and also right here on YouTube, Movies and TV, free with ads. So check it out, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.